Hey everyone. So let's continue on with this game. And I'm going to talk to you guys about something that honestly has been a part of my life since I can remember. Probably since, hmm, maybe the age of 13 or 14 when I started high school. Well, that is the concept of looking like a snob. Yeah. I feel like my whole life I have heard that I look like a snob. And I mean, I would be rich if I got $1 every time that I heard someone say, "Oh, you know what? When I first saw you, I thought you were a snob. But now that I've talked to you, wow, you're really nice," or blah, blah, blah. Or, yeah, you know that person over there? They think you're a snob. That's why they haven't spoken to you because, you look like a snob. I reached a point that I was so over it. And it just kind of became a part of me. I just accepted it, you know? And then as I got older, I started, reflecting more on myself and how I was perceived in the world. And I started working on it. I started, working on the resting bitch face. And I put extra attention into how I spoke to people. And even if I'm just there in a conversation, I would just keep like a little slight smile on my face, so that I didn't look upset or something, so that I looked approachable or friendly this way. But you know what? It's really interesting because what I've learned from all of this is that people just have no freaking clue who you are, as INFJs even, right? Without talking to you and without taking the time to know you. And even then, depending how much they talk to you, they still don't have a clue who the hell you are. But anyways, I want to talk all about why the INFJ comes off as a snob, because, it's not only whether or not we have a smile on our face, right? There's other things that give that vibe. So in case you've been curious about this, or you've heard this practically your whole life, just like I have, or you want to work on it, or maybe you don't want to work on it at all and you're like, screw it, this is me, just take it or leave it. I mean, kudos to you. But anyways, let's just jump into the video. I mean, gosh, what a long intro, right? Well, what I will say first of all is INFJs have this look because they really hold themselves with a certain type of poise. I mean, I've spoken about it before in my vampire video. I don't even know what other videos I've probably touched on in other ones too, that they kind of hold themselves in like a regal aspect, what's the word I had used? Like an aristocrat. Yeah. They kind of hold themselves like in their mannerisms, and that can be quite intimidating, can't it? But apart from that, I think people automatically think like, this person thinks they're too good for me. Just look how they're standing there. Do you know what I mean? It really is just assumptions at that point. But regardless of that, I mean, people are thinking that way, right? And I think in that moment, they really can't quite articulate or understand what they're even thinking. So they just kind of put it under the whole catch-all of snobby. You know what I mean? Even though that doesn't dictate snobbiness, but that's just how their brain is wired to think. But the other point is INFJs can look really unapproachable, right? But as I said before, that really doesn't reflect the inside of them. You know what? Okay, this is story time. I don't know if you want story time. I'll give it to you, okay? So I've always, as of late, I would say the past 10 years, I've been really focused on my impressions that I give towards other people. because I really started to see the value in, first impressions are everything, right? And it matters. Like, I get questioned all the time, actually. When I talk to people about this, they'll say, why do you care? Like, why do you care how people are taking you or how they're perceiving you? And for me, that's wild because, I mean, you never know who you're going to meet and what role they're going to play in your life, right? Like, do I really want to come off as someone completely unapproachable to someone who could be my future boss, for example, right? Someone who has the power to hire or fire me, like, think of it. Or, I don't know, when I meet someone I care about and meet their family and, the whole nine yards, right? So, anyways, the whole point is, I've also told you guys, like, INFJs just can't see themselves, right? This is the crux of this whole issue of people thinking you look like a snob because INFJs can't see it, right? I think because also we know ourselves, like we know we're not snobs, right? So we really can't see it. We have no idea what the hell they're talking about when they say that to us. But my whole point is, every once in a blue moon, I'll have someone in my life that I feel like, you know what? I think I can trust this person to give it to me straight. It's not often you meet someone like that, right? Anyways, I met my friend's new boyfriend. And it's funny. She was like, I can't wait for you to meet him. I can't wait to see this conversation you guys are going to have. Like, she already knew it was going to be crazy. But anyways, we had this whole crazy deep convo. And then the second time I saw him, I was like, you know what? I think this guy's going to keep it real with me, right? And I would love to hear a guy's perspective too, because of course I've heard the girls' perspectives, right? Like I've heard from my friends, but it's so rarely that a woman can hear a guy's perspective, like no strings attached, like just giving it to me straight, nothing to win or lose from it, And so I had asked him, I said, you know what, like what was your first impressions of me, right? And God damn it, guys. Keep in mind, I've been working on this forever, okay? And still I fail. Still. He was like, you know what? You give this look of the kind of girl that is just... Okay, hold on, back up. Keep in mind, when he first saw me, it wasn't even when I got into her house to like actually meet him, to be introduced to him. By chance, he was outside walking his dog and I arrived. So I passed him on the sidewalk. And at that point, I didn't know who he was, right? So he really got the real deal of like, this is Chess, bam, like raw, when you see her as a complete stranger, right? So anyways, then I got in the house and I met him. He came into the house and I met him. But while I was passing him, like halfway through that passing motion, I started thinking, oh my God, is that him? Because I know he has a dog. Shoot, is that him? God damn it. I started thinking, right? Anyways, the whole point is, he said to me, when I first saw you on the sidewalk, he's like, you give that look of the girl who's like, you know what? You get hit on all the time. You don't even care to look at a guy. You're not even going to pay attention. You're over it. Leave me alone. Yeah. Apparently, that's the raw deal of what I give off. Leave me alone. I don't care to know who the hell you are. You see what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I want to work on that, right? That's messed up. And then he goes on to say, but he goes, then I met you, right? I was introduced to you. And then you gave me a hug, and you started talking to me. He goes, and it turns out you're like the biggest sweetheart, and no one would have a clue unless they talk to you and they actually know you, right? Oh my gosh, I went on forever with this. I know you guys probably don't care to hear this, but anyways, I said it now, so who cares? But the point is we just look unapproachable. And what else are you supposed to do with that, right? Like, what the hell? Because I always say, for me, if I was to walk around 24/7 with a smile on my face, I'm sorry, I think I look psycho. You know what I mean? Because who's walking around like that all the time? It's crazy. But let's carry on. Let's carry on. Gosh, I got sidetracked. Well, here's another reason why people think you're a snob, okay? I think that people think we just expect too much of people, you know? Like our standards are just too high. Like, and the other thing about our standards are, generally speaking, we don't move the goalpost, right? We're pretty firm in it. Like when we feel a certain type of way about something and our expectations for how people deal with us and, you know, what's acceptable to us, we don't shift on that, generally speaking, right? And if someone can't meet those standards, we really do look like we couldn't care less about you, don't we? Yeah, I think so. That part I can admit. That's not good, right? But here's another thing. We can't handle shallow people, right? Like we can't handle reckless people. And ironically, we even judge people for being judgmental. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. Like that's the thing of it. There's lots of things that we do that make us give that vibe of snob that isn't only about the expression on our face. Do you know what I mean? Because even another thing to this is we don't sugarcoat things, right? I mean, listen, we know how to say things nicely. Do you remember I just spoke about this? Who was it again? The diplomat? Yeah, we know how to say things nicely, but ultimately we don't sugarcoat most of the time, right? Unless you're really freaking fragile and then we baby you a bit. But yeah, and also we usually communicate things, as I said before, in a diplomatic way, but there's still a punch behind it, isn't there? There's still a sort of edge to it. And we're kind of like sour key candies in reverse, you know? Like, so you know how they're sour and then they go sweet? Well, sometimes we can look sweet, but there's that sourness inside. But at the same time, I guess we are just like a sour key candy, aren't we? We look sour, but we're sweet inside. We're sour keys. That's it. That's the bottom line. But the last one I'll mention is we can be really dismissive. I mean, we can dismiss people from our life too easily, can't we? I mean, as soon as we see nonsense, it's like, bye. You know that song by Sam Smith, I think it's called Too Good at Goodbye. You know, I'm way too good at goodbyes. Yeah, no, I can't sing. Give me a break. But honestly, I think that's the INFJ, right? Because, hey, we've done it our whole lives. And don't get me wrong, there are certain people in my life that I will never want to say bye to. And if I had to, it's really, really, really going to hurt. But for the most part, I can do it, you know? And I think that's also seen as snobby because I think people see it as, you know, the INFJ thinks they're better than someone else, therefore they won't keep them around. But that's not really it, is it? No, it's more of self-protection, you know, just keeping it real with myself, or ourselves, I should say, being honest with ourselves about if this person should be, you know, seated at our table or not. And yeah, so that kind of makes us seem snobby too, right? But the thing of it is what the heck are we supposed to do with that, right? We can't be changing all these things. Like, we can't be changing our standards just so we look more approachable, right? And we can't change the fact that we don't want to hang around shallow people. And I mean, the sugarcoating thing, come on, like, how nice do we gotta be? We're already diplomatic. What more do you want from us, right? I don't know. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not about to be changing how I carry myself. I mean, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to walk around like just as if I don't value myself whatsoever? And like, what? You want me to like have no posture? Like, what do you want from me? I don't understand it. So, you know what, INFJs? I feel like I said a lot of stuff in this video, but I didn't give you any solid advice, right? But now that I think about it, my advice is, okay, fine. Work on your facial expression, I guess, and how you talk to people, sure. But ultimately, like, screw it. Like, this is you, you know? And I don't know about you guys, but so many parts of myself have been adjusted by me so that I can fit somewhere, you know? And it's tiring, isn't it? Right? And eventually you reach a point, you get older, and you realize enough of it. Like, this is me, take it or leave it, because whoever is supposed to be around you will be around you, you know? And those that aren't, they'll just kind of see themselves out, I guess, right? I mean, it is quality over quantity, isn't it? I don't know. I think so. I think that's the way to look at life. That's the approach to have. I think it brings more satisfaction. So maybe all these people think we're snobs, right? But that's okay, because all we got to do is talk to them. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. I know a lot of you aren't looking forward to that idea. But yeah, that's all you got to do. You just got to talk to them, show them who you are that way. And slowly but surely, it's like a game of tug of war. They just kind of come over to your side and you're all good. Anyways, that's my rant for today. Yeah, I'm sorry I give you rants. But anyways, take it easy, guys. You guys are pretty freaking special, just so you know. And okay. I don't know why I started feeling emotional. I was about to say so many other things, but I won't say them. But okay, take it easy, guys, okay? I'll see you in the next video. Adios.